I saw the disparity between the availability of really good top quality talent in other parts of the world that are not called United States and the need for this talent in United States. I believe we will be touching AI at some point of our conversation. But even with AI, even with improved efficiency, you cannot replace a million of high quality engineers immediately. So, etc. I believe the fourth iteration that we're actually are embarking on right now is generative AI.
So, was there like either a project or maybe a pivotal moment that significantly shaped Distillery's growth and success that you could share with us?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So right now we identify ourselves as a services company. So we deliver services and products for our clients, not holding IP. We're building everything for the success of our clients. However, back in the days, we were building products.
From launching a successful cloud synchronization startup at age 19 to leading a top software development company recognized globally for its innovation and excellence, today's guest has a journey that's nothing short of extraordinary. His passion for technology and relentless pursuit of excellence have driven him to remarkable heights. Please welcome Andrey Kudievsky, the founder and CEO of Distillery. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's my pleasure to be here.
So let's just jump right in. Can you share with me what was the initial thing that sparked your interest in technology and entrepreneurship at such a young age?
Absolutely. I come from the background where entrepreneurship is not necessarily being welcomed. I was born and raised in the Soviet Union in Russia. Now, that's where you actually didn't want to show your entrepreneurial skills at all, ever. However, my dad, I guess he was just trying to swim against the stream. And he was one of the guys who established a small shop selling fishing supplies. And he brought me in to his shop, just trying to be helpful. He taught me how to speak with people, how to sell something that has a markup. The only way how you can sell things is to define a value for clients, for customers. Now, that explains the entrepreneurial piece. However, technology is just something that I was honestly very passionate about always. It started with me getting my first computer at the age of 8. I actually don't remember what it was, but it was super old. This huge LCD screen goes deep into your room, super pixelated. You can play Mario Brothers there. And that's how it all started. How can you press the button on a keyboard, yet the character moves on the screen? Isn't that exciting? It still is exciting to me. So I really wanted to learn how that gets done. I got into the school where they had the computer class, and then later on into top technology university in Russia, graduated with honor, got my what's called over there red diploma, meaning the highest in the class. And since then, I moved to the United States and started my business.
So what motivated you to start Distillery?
That's a great question. I saw the disparity between the availability of really good top quality talent in other parts of the world that are not called United States and the need for this talent in United States. Even right now with current unemployment rates, the United States is still missing about 900 to a million software engineers. Simply, the United States doesn't produce that much. There is a need to outsource, and it will be for the next decade at least. I believe we will be touching AI at some point in our conversation, but even with AI, even with improved efficiency, you cannot replace a million high quality engineers immediately. So I saw this challenge as, look, there is talent in one country. There is a need for this talent in another country, and the price is just right. So why be a connector between those great engineers, great companies in the United States, and be the guy or the company who connects them for the benefit?
Excellent. So how has your vision for the company evolved since founding it?
We started as a database development company. By the way, I'm an engineer by trade. I was taught how to code, and I actually enjoyed it a lot. 8 years ago, I stopped building the code completely, and my skills got very rusty. Now, databases are all fun and fancy, but as soon as the web came into picture, I saw that it's the future, and we onboarded into building websites, building web applications, trying to get into this part of technology. we're hopefully the listeners and the viewers of this podcast are still remembering the days when mobile phones actually arrived to this planet Earth, thanks to Apple and the lack of vision from BlackBerry. We all got into the world of mobile applications, and we started building mobile apps. For, I would say, a brief period of 2 years, mobile application development was a paramount of our business, occupying 90% of our talent and bringing 90+% of the revenue. So that was the third iteration of Distillery. Well, last but not least, right now we do everything from databases to mobile apps to websites to DevOps, quality assurance, etc. I believe the fourth iteration that we're actually embarking on right now is generative AI. How do we make sure that we bring this to our company so we can also bring this to our clients and teach them how to use the tools to their advantage to be more efficient, beat the competition, be faster, be more agile, and bring a little bit of innovation into their existing products.
So was there a project or maybe a pivotal moment that significantly shaped Distillery's growth and success that you could share with us?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So right now we identify ourselves as a services company. So we deliver services and products for our clients, not holding IP. We're building everything for the success of our clients. However, back in the days, we were building products. It's fun and fancy. Engineers love it. Building products, however, you need to be doing one thing. You need to be focused on just doing that and not be distracted to going elsewhere. That was a challenge for us. And honestly, as a CEO, I should have recognized it way earlier. So the pivotal moment for us was an unsuccessful business line that we called app-enabled business, meaning that we would build a business based on mobile application, launch it to the world, try to market it. And we had some successes. We built mobile applications that got recognized by Apple, downloaded literally millions of times. However, that didn't bring the revenue required to keep developing them and keep supporting them. So for us, that was the moment when I decided together with our amazing management team that we know what we do well. We can develop those apps. We can develop those websites. We can support technology, but we need the business knowledge, the domain expertise of our clients together to create a successful business. So that was the pivotal moment when we decided to be a services company. Don't shy away from calling ourselves services company, because I know that there is a little bit of a stigma. Hey guys, you just develop services. You don't know how to develop products. No, we develop products, but for you, product and the service is the business. And since then, I would say that was the 2016. So it's been good 8 years at this moment that we were developing services, nothing else. However, our services actually include building products, design, project management, product management, and everything in between, soup to nuts. However, we have a very clear understanding of what we're good at, and we are sticking to this, providing services to the clients.
Excellent. So from my research, I see that your leadership style emphasizes empowering the right people. So can you elaborate how you identify and cultivate talent within your organization?
I believe that this is the most difficult as well as most impactful part of my job. First of all, as you grow, there is a saying that the people who got you where you are will not necessarily get you to where you want to be. Meaning, if you're at $5 million with your current team, you need to go and evaluate what it will take from them to get to 50 and whether or not this team is actually capable of. And the truth is going to be somewhere in between. There are some people who you can upskill. There are some people who are very comfortable walking the path from the 0 to 1 and uncomfortable or not good at walking the path from 1 to 10 or scaling beyond 10, let's say. So my style is to identify the leadership skills early, identify the talent that ideally wants to go and walk the path where we want to be. And this is the growth trajectory, and work with them on what skills they're missing. Myself, I will give myself as a first example and then we'll expand it. I myself identify that while I'm a good engineer, or at least used to be a good software developer back in the days when I was actually developing the code. I had no business education. So on my arrival to United States, I did 1 year virtually at Stanford, and then I went to UCLA Executive MBA Education, UCLA Anderson. So I got my skills in order to be able to go beyond where I am currently at. Now, the same is applicable for the rest of my team. So our operational director right now, he's working with a group of other leaders who are occupying not just director roles, but chief operational officer role. And I want him to be able to upskill, see how other people do this, see how other companies in similar field or outside of our profile do this. Our head of global finance, she's an amazing woman. I believe that she's actually doing skills better than I could ever advise her to do. So she has CPA skills. She goes to all the events, participate in all the conferences, and being part of professional community. So is our chief revenue officer. He's a member of organization that connects all the chief revenue officers across the country in different industries, share the knowledge and trying to digest the mastermind information. And that's important to see the willingness to do this. And if these people are actually doing this on their own, or they're, once you recommend it, suggesting them, they're eager to onboard on this path with you, those are the people that you want to take with you and walk this road of growth. And there are some folks who are just, they don't want to be better. They're comfortable. And comfortable is not good, at least in my understanding of what the leaders should be.
Distillery has received many accolades under your leadership. Which achievements are you most proud of and why?
That me saying one single achievement will actually diminish the value of the others. But here's how I will answer, Mike. The single biggest achievement is when the clients tell us, and sometimes me directly, you guys are doing such an amazing job that we don't want to work with anyone but you. That's it. Don't say no more. These are the words that I will take gladly, because in our business, our clients work with several vendors. Usually there is the value in diversification. Whenever we become a preferred vendor, whenever we get this accolade of, oh, you guys actually are doing a great job, we want to work with you more. That's the accomplishment that I'm most proud of, not the participation on the Inc. 5000 list, not the design award, not the Apple recognition that we got several times. Those are all good. It doesn't melt my heart as much as the client's words when they're saying that, when they're delivering the genuine feedback that we are doing a good job.
Yeah, I have a company that we do NetSuite development. And there's two things that make me extremely proud. Hearing things like that, but also a year or two down the road, they come back and they say, hey, we're having this new problem with the new version of NetSuite. And you helped us out so well last time. Could you come back and help us out again? That's always, because my philosophy is get a client, keep a client. I feel like really difficult to go out of business if every client you've ever gotten along your history keeps coming back to you. So I'm with you there 100%. I'm really big on decentralized management. So where you have a job description, you've hired somebody to do that job because you think they're good at it. If you give them some boundaries, they should be able to make decisions that fit within their role. And there's boundaries, how much can they spend without approval, et cetera. But you have to let them operate. Otherwise, if everything has to go through you or some other manager, why do we have that employee? The manager could always make all the decisions. They just need somebody to execute what they decide. So that's something that I feel sets apart any of the clients that I work with, because that's what I teach them. It sets them apart from other leaders. So what do you think sets Distillery apart from other software companies in the industry?
It's our relentless pursuit of be better 1%. Every single day, every single year, I would say be better every time. When you look at the mirror, I actually want to see myself there. Tomorrow, if I look at the mirror, I want to see the better version of Andrey than I saw yesterday. Same applies to the company. I want to come to work tomorrow and say, this is the best version of Distillery that has ever been on the market. So for us, learning, culture of experimentation across the company is extremely important. We want to become better. We want to become best in our business. We might not be the best company yet, but we will never give up trying. So that's what sets us apart. we are on a constant trajectory to be better than we were yesterday.
So you recently achieved US citizenship, right? And you're also pursuing an executive MBA at UCLA. So how are these milestones influencing your approach to business and leadership?
US citizenship, it's a dream of mine, has been now accomplished. This is the reality. And that ties me with the country that I am heavily invested in. I moved to the United States more than 10 years ago. It took me this exact 10 years to pass to get the citizenship. And I don't want to say I'm definitely not the biggest business owner in the United States, but I like to think that I contributed to US economy fairly, and US as a nation, as a country treated me fairly as well. Some may think that those are too patriotic words, but I do believe strongly that the United States is the best country in the world. One important thing that it has is freedom. I've been in many other countries. Freedom is not something that I take lightly, and the United States has it. Now, how that helps? It's the freedom of making decisions, freedom of thinking that your business has a future tomorrow, freedom of planning long term and not just, hey, let's do 2 year worth of business and then let's see how we can get out. It's the freedom that you want and run the business you want to run. And from the executive MBA perspective, getting the executive MBA definitely helped me to put the foundation, the basement under the house that I already built. I'm in weird oddball situation when I already had the working business making tens of millions of dollars, but I didn't have the business education. And that's not usually how this goes. So I decided to fix this problem by, all right, I have a business. There is a house built, has nice doors, pretty windows. Let's go and put it on a rock solid foundation. So for me, executive MBA is actually like the verification that I know what to do. I have understanding talking to our head of finance about, let's actually dive into this P&L. Show me the pro forma, show how we did year to date. Jumping on the phone with our CRO and being comfortable talking about all the projections that he was making and basically eliminating the imposter syndrome. I think that's where I was getting towards. Eliminating the imposter syndrome was also something that helped me because at some point I couldn't help but thinking, did I just get lucky or my work got me where I am right now? And now I believe that it is work, but definitely a little bit of luck. So executive MBA education just helps to check those boxes that I always wanted to.
I'm a big believer that the way you handled that was the right way, because I think that sometimes people go, they get a degree and then they think they know all this stuff about doing whatever it is, the field of work that they're going into. And then they get the slap in the face that really, they don't know the real world. But what you were able to do was accomplish something in the real world and then go, and the only way I can put it is like shore up your skills. And as an example, when I was just a support technician for a law firm, the boss hired this guy to help us do support. And he had Microsoft certifications and all this stuff. And he looked great on paper until he went to change. Back then we had the laser printers with the cartridges that slid into them. And he went to change a cartridge and he said, it's not working and I can't get it back out of the machine. Well, what he did was, there's a tab on the side that you pull out so the plastic comes out and then that falls in. He didn't take that off. And then not only that, he jammed the thing in there because of course it's not going to slide in when there's a tab on there. Just further proof that having the practical knowledge would have helped him a lot. Had he gone to get that practical knowledge first and then went for the certification, becomes much more valuable because you connect the dots better when you've done something. And it's one of the things I coach tech executives, people like yourself. And one of the things I'll do is if we're talking and they say something and maybe they don't have the confidence or something, I'll give them little homework to do that they don't even realize is forcing them to connect those dots. And then we have the conversation the next session about it. And 9 out of 10 times they suddenly realize, wow, I knew more about this than I thought I did. And I was just paralyzing myself. Like, you're really into continuous learning, professional development. What advice do you have for other entrepreneurs about how important that is?
Crucial important. It is crucial. My advice is to never think twice about spending money and time on the education. It will always pay back threefold, if not fivefold or tenfold. That's the best advice that I can give to my 18 years old, myself 18 years old. Just go and do this sooner. Don't wait. You will become a little bit older and a little bit less willing to do this. You will have kids that will prevent you from dedicating 100% of your time towards the education and the work. So do it while you can, while it is a little bit easier, and your future self will be extremely grateful for that.
So how do you see the tech industry evolving in the next 5 years? And how are you positioning Distillery to stay ahead of the curve?
A tough one, because 5 years now looks less clear than 5 years about 2 years ago. Thanks to Gen AI and all the advancements that we're seeing, I believe that developers will not lose jobs to Gen AI. Developers who don't know how to use Gen AI will lose jobs to developers who use Gen AI. So for us, in order to stay relevant, it is crucially important to actually onboard on this, basically on AI train and make it across all the organization. What we're doing, as a matter of fact, is we do first training AI literacy to all the members of Distillery, assistants, HR people, recruiters. Everyone is now using AI. And the second layer is to educate engineers how to use Copilot, Podium, all the tools that are relevant to their specific technology stack. If we have this in our DNA, if we know how to use it, if we know how to showcase that there is a value for our clients, and there is developers who use AI tools there, we measured how many points we delivered during the story, and it's usually at least 20, 30, 40% more, sometimes 2x. There's value right there. The same person for the mere cost of $25 per license, now becoming at least 30% more efficient. It's money right there. My vision that in the next 5 years, it will only accelerate and we will see something unimaginable. I honestly don't think that in the next 5 years, instead of you and I, Mike, there will be our prototypes sitting and talking to each other and having this interview. That seems to be a little bit unlikely to me, but maybe in 5 years from now, I will actually be ashamed to even think that I couldn't imagine this. Maybe that will be the case. AI is accelerating everything. It is important to stay relevant. It is important to not shy away from this, but also to not be scared. I believe that AI, at least right now, is a friend, and it is up to humanity to not make it an enemy. We will do our best to use this to our.
So how is AI used by software developers to help them with their job?
Oh, that's where we are entering the territory of many examples. Let's talk about simple ones. Quality assurance people generating humongous relevant data sets that previously would take hours just to write code to generate them. Now you can generate them in minutes, seconds. If you have the prompt ready, saves time. Number two, actually developing or learning a piece of code in a language that you don't know or you're not necessarily super comfortable with. You can actually ask to write this code for you, and someone else will pair program, take a look, implement it, and it's actually going to work. So on the project where there is multiple technologies, what we call spaghetti code, I'm sure you're aware of this, those happen. You can now have one person instead of several people doing the same job efficiently. We use AI not just for developers, but on the back office. For example, our recruitment arm is using AI to improve the number of openings on cold emails and openings on LinkedIn. The standard for LinkedIn emails is about 14 to 15%. We've seen, I don't want to give out the trade secrets, but with the use of AI, we've seen that we can improve the opening rate of emails with relevant messaging generated by AI threefold to 45 up to 50%. So half of our emails are now being opened instead of 15%. So those are just few examples of how it is currently being used for generating user stories. You just upload everything into all the requirements, tech documentation into customly created GPT, and you ask, as an admin of this system, I want to do this. And it creates you the user story that instead of project manager, writing this for hours will be given to developers who will start coding this. And it takes minutes, seriously.
Yeah, no, I think efficiency is really, if I were to take what you said and sum it up, efficiency. I've noticed like I used to write a lot of code, but in the last, I don't think I've really written any code for probably 7, 8 years now. And one of the things that I thought about is exactly one of the first examples you gave is I remember I was hired by somebody on a contract basis to work on a .NET project for them. And then their client postponed the start of the project for 60 days and they wanted to make sure that I stuck around. So they said, maybe you can make some changes to their website. And their website was in Cold Fusion. And I didn't know Cold Fusion, but I used Google to look things up. And it took me hours at first to figure out things. But then once you figure out, this is how it works in this language, and this is how it works in the language I know, I can make it work. But imagine if I could have gone to ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever and dropped that code in there and said, all right, tell me how I would write this in JavaScript. And then you can look at it and go, I know JavaScript and this is what this code is doing. So this code must be doing the same exact thing. And you can figure out what's going on. I think that's great. The project manager, like working on the user stories and stuff like that, that's actually a brilliant use for AI for a developer, in my opinion. I've seen things advertised, they'll write the code, et cetera. And I don't totally buy that. Like one of the things I was going to mention is for our businesses, I build our websites and I use a tool called Elementor just because if I don't have to write CSS code to make something look good, then that's saving me time and energy. They've now introduced a feature where you can click the AI and say, okay, I want this picture to raise up when I put the mouse over it and put a drop shadow when you put the mouse over it. And it'll write the CSS code to do that for you. That is little things like that you do over and over again, but they're slightly different from project to project. Development, speed up. Companies like yours will make more money because you're still able to charge what you were able to charge, but you're going to get more done in less time. I really like your attitude about AI too. Seems to be a prevailing attitude today that, oh, AI is going to take over all the jobs. And it will if you don't learn how to use it to help you do your job. I think that's the biggest thing. I noticed that you're actively involved in community initiatives and mentoring within the tech industry. What drives your commitment to those activities?
If you ask me how I identify myself, I can potentially give you several answers. I'm a father, I'm a husband, business owner, I'm CEO. One specific answer, which should go before all of that, is I'm an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurship is what got me here. And I want to share the knowledge, share the expertise, and honestly help others who are, if not struggling on this path, but can be a little bit more efficient. And I'm also grateful for the mentors that I had throughout my careers. And I have right now someone who has been a former client and now a person whom I meet regularly with, and someone who has done some amazing things, helping me to not do stupid mistakes that are only visible from the outside. So I really want to be this similar person to someone else and participate in the community of entrepreneurs, just sharing my knowledge. I really believe in the fact that the more you share, the more you get, it goes around. The more you give, the more you get. That helped me throughout my life, my career, and every good that you make will come around. Same goes for every bad that you will make.
So is there a hobby or interest that you have that might surprise people who know you primarily as a tech entrepreneur?
Yes. I spend a lot of time on the ski hills, and the way how I call it, I know how to handle the mountain. One day I go to Utah and sit on the chair with someone who has the same accent, and I recognize immediately and ask this 65-year-old gentleman, hey, where are you from? And he's saying from Kazakhstan. Great. You by yourself here? By myself. Let's do a couple of runs. And deep in my mind, I think now I have to wait for this person because he's a 65-year-old gentleman. And I, at the time, was a 35-year-old skier. So he goes off the chairlift into the glades, in between the trees, like he has a radar, doesn't stop with a speed that I cannot even catch up with him. At the end of the ski hill, I'm out of breath, almost considering myself dead, still trying to catch up with this guy. And I'm asking, look, just who are you? Like, why I'm not able to follow you? I've been on the junior ski Olympic team at Kazakhstan. So for people who know me and who think that I'm a good skier, I'm not. There is always someone who is better than me. But I will tell you, Mike, that ski chairs, sit on the ski lift and then go into upper ski after actually helped me to close a lot of business. That is a legitimate business generating activity that I enjoy. Unfortunately, it's only seasonal. So I need to find something else that is a little bit more year around.
Yeah, no doubt. So this has been a great conversation. I truly appreciated the time you spent and the depth you've gone into. Why don't you let the listeners know how they can connect with you in case they want to ask you some questions?
Thank you, Mike. If anyone wants to connect with me, and I'm always welcoming those connections, please find me on LinkedIn. My name is Andrey Kudievsky, but trust me, I am the only person with its last name on the entire LinkedIn. So it's easy.
Yeah, I can attest to that, having connected with you. But thanks again so much for being here. It truly means the world to me when people spend this 30 minutes with me on a weekly basis and share their knowledge. And I know the tech executives that listen to the show appreciate it as well because they're getting a new insight. So again, thank you so much for your time.
It's been a pleasure, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for watching Gaining the Technology Leadership Edge. There's a new episode every Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time, released on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook simultaneously. Please come back next week for another exciting interview with another tech leader.